Hey, scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with day 7 and 8 of my December daily. And I've done just a little bit of prep work here so that this goes a little bit smoother and it isn't too long of a process video. So let me pull out day 7 and 8 and the back of day 6, because if you remember on day 6, I had this 6x8 photo. So for day 7, I have the back of the 6x8 photo, and I printed out another 6x8 photo to go on that. This was actually all the same. These pictures were all taken at the same time, but because I'm telling two different stories, these are going to be days 7 and 8. So we have day 7, which are the kids' Christmas jammies this year, and then day 8, which is going to be decorating the Christmas tree. So I printed out this photo. I created a clipping mask in Photoshop that was Christmas tree shaped, and then I printed out this photo and fussy cut it, and then I adhered some paper to the back of the photo and fussy cut around that too, so that I would have, backing for the photo. So I'm going to use this label cluster that I created in one of my DIY Your Scraps videos, and I'm just going to adhere it right to the middle of this Christmas tree, making sure that it lines up directly with the edge of that, which means I'm going to have to fussy cut just around the edges here so it's not hanging over the edges, because that doesn't even, you can't even see that there because it is so, this photo on the other side is so busy. It just looks like a big old mess. So I'm just going to snip those. There we go. Uh-oh, I'm losing stars. I have to put those back on. So that leaves a little bit of a weird chunk missing from this area, which I might deal with, or I might just leave it alone. I'm not sure yet. Not sure if that bothers me. So I'm going to add to the word art that's on this photo, and I'm going to put Jingle Jams under here, which makes sense. There we go, which actually kind of covers up those stars anyway. So I have Jingle Jams, and then I decided I'm going to use a small 7 to sort of add to this cluster here. And I guess if I already covered up those stars down here, let's just pull these off and cluster this in here. 7. Then I'm going to pull off the ones that are underneath this M too. And I will just reposition all of those. Jingle Jams. I don't really call the kids jammies or pajamas jams. I've heard the term used before though, and I can't really add jammies there. It's a little bit too long of a word. Pajamas is certainly too long, so I'm just gonna go with jams, and it's gonna be no big deal. So I got kind of a weird area right here where it would be awkward to journal. So that's where I'm gonna add those stars back in. There were 6 of them. So I'm adding 6 dots here. Let's add 2 over here. And I'll just put all of these back on. I like to lick my fingers so that they actually stick to the tip of my finger. Which I guess is probably gross for some people. But it works for me. Getting tweezers out is too fussy for me. especially with those little tiny stars. Okay, so I'm gonna add that journaling in later. I'm not hugely fond of this area right here, which I also missed a part. There we go. But it's not annoying enough to make me change it. Although if I added that there and it sort of went the whole width of that branch, I actually think I like that. It makes me happier. So I'm gonna add some adhesive right here, and I'm just going to stick the label that I cut off on here, which you can see sort of that happened, but it's not hugely noticeable and it makes me a little bit happier. So if I journal over it and sort of incorporate it into the journaling, probably won't be able to notice that it's two different pieces at all. Uh-oh, look at that. We somehow we just lost a whole mess of those stars. Oh no. Where'd they all go? Okay, wait, there's two. One. Guess I gotta be careful until it's dry, huh? Okay. Now let's be careful with them so we don't lose them again. I'm gonna adhere this down, but I didn't do it yet because I couldn't decide whether or not I was gonna need to sandwich anything in between, but I don't think I am. So I'm going to just go ahead and glue these back to back. And then the only part of this photo that sort of bothers me and feels like it could need some embellishment is the top right corner. I don't know if you see that too, but it kind of bugs me. I'll line up these holes. And I also cut these holes wonky, which kind of made the photo off-centered. It's not that big of a deal right here, but kind of in here it's annoying. So I think I'm going to trim it down along the edge there so that it's not as visible. I don't think it'll be too noticeable with the photo on the other side. Nah, that's fine. Okay, so I have this photo, and I'm talking about right here, feels like it kind of needs something. And also, you can't just leave a photo in there with no embellishment. So let me see. Maybe a sticker cluster of some sort. Kind of like this Be Jolly. And maybe with the flowers. So I could put, so this Be Jolly and this flower fit together real nicely. And it's kind of perfect right there. So I think I'm gonna commit to that. And I think I might add some of these gold stars right here to sort of mimic this side and give it just a little bit of flair right there to sort of fill in. I think I'll do them down through here and down through here. So I'm gonna turn the camera off so you don't have to watch me do that, and I'll be right back. All right, awesome. So that is day 7. Once I add the journaling in, we will be good to go. So day 8 looks like this to begin with. And then I have some photos of the children decorating the tree. And I had printed these out in both color and black and white. And I will show you why I chose black and white. So I also printed out a picture of Finn, but I felt like it was too overwhelming. And I want to show you why. and why I chose to cut Finn out of the spread. And mostly I chose to cut Finn out of the spread because Finn is still young, and he's like going to be a lot of the majority of this album, because a lot of the magical activities center around him. So I decided that I would include pictures of the older children while I could, because they were actually present for this activity. So here are the color versions of these photos. And then I also had Finn in here. And you can see that this just looks really repetitive, really sort of, there's just not a lot to focus on. And then it really repeats here too, because I have the tree cut out in tree shape. And so I didn't love the way that this all looked together. So my first decision was to cut Finn out of the picture and have 2 cards instead of just one, and only have 2 photos. And then I still was not digging the way that this was looking. So once I moved these photos over to black and white though, I loved the contrast in the photos and the way that it was looking. So that was my thought process about, like, around why I chose to make those photos black and white. So I pulled out some wood veneer, and then of course a number 8 to use. And then I also have this totally adorable shaker pocket that I made in, I feel like there's a hole here or something. Just pulled a star off, but nothing comes out. Weird. Okay. Anyway, I made this shaker pocket, shaker ornament in one of my DIY Your Scraps videos. So I was thinking it looked kind of cute, sort of hanging from this hole. And I'm taking a risk by poking a hole in this shaker ornament, taking a risk of losing some of these sequins, but I think it would look really cute with like a string tied through it and tied to this ring. So I'm going to take that risk, and I'm going to poke as small a hole as possible with my awl. Whoa, don't stab Karsten. And see if I can make it work. So I poked the hole, and I want to use some, I think I'm going to use some red raffia. So here's the red raffia. And the hole is unfortunately not going to be big enough to stick the raffia in there without some trouble. So let's see if we can make this sort of work. I'm going to twist it so it's nice and firm and small, and try and get it through this hole. I can also take my awl and sort of try and poke it through as well. Maybe. What if I poke a hole in it? There we go. And then try and poke it through. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. It's almost there. I got through the first one. It's the second layer that we're struggling with now. So I'm going to come from the back and pull it through, hopefully. Oh, I think we did it. Dun, da, da, da. I wanted to keep that hole as small as possible, because the smaller it is, the less likely it is to let the sequins out. So that's why that struggle was unavoidable. And I'm just going to trim it for the moment. I'm going to tie it around the actual ring, so I don't want to tie it yet. So this actually is, I mean, fairly busy, so I don't need to add too much. But what I do want to add, of course I need to add the number. And I think I want to add the number here on this tree, sort of to mitigate how busy it feels. So what I'm going to do is, because I have these gold Holly Jollies here, and then this card, I already added my journaling in advance, but this card was made in one of my DIY Your Scraps videos, so it's already ready already. But it has this gold, so I thought I could add a matching gold right here to the middle so that I could like frame the 8. Now, what's really interesting is I've talked about how this year I'm not feeling it. And I actually am starting to feel a little bit better. But when we decorated the tree, I was still not feeling it. So I just let the kids have at it. I haven't removed any ornaments or anything like that. Plus our tree, the lights died this year. So we had to use our outdoor Christmas lights on the tree, and so the tree's just janky this year. And so it's not like it's amazingly, you know, well coordinated tree that I just have to have a perfect picture of. I was kind of wanting to, like, I cut it out in the tree shape just to kind of distract from the fact that it was a janky tree. And so covering up this photo a little bit does not bother me, because I'm not trying to show off the tree like it's some amazing, beautiful thing. Okay, but I do really like the way that the gold is playing off of each other. So I've got the 8 going on there, and I have these cute little like Christmas lights that I was actually planning on using on the photo of Finn, because it had so much blank space here because he's so small. But now I don't know if they're actually going to work the way that I was envisioning them working, which doesn't look like they are to me. So let's instead maybe look for some word strips or some stickers. I have a stocking here. I wonder if it's too big. I think it might be too long. Such a small area. What about this spreading joy? I kind of like that. And being holly and jolly is kind of cute too. So let's do spreading joy on Karsten's. Actually, maybe I can use these on Karsten's as well. Down here. What if I put it here and then added some color down there? With the stocking. Okay, I like this clustering. So what if we put this down here? I think I need to angle this a little bit more. Oh, I don't like that. Okay. You would think that something so little would not matter as much to me and I would just let it go. But no, I'm going to fuss with this until I enjoy it. Okay, I like that. So I need to add some adhesive here. There we go. Make sure that that spreading joy is correctly horizontal. Okay, I like that. I was thinking about adding things in the white spaces, but I'm thinking a little bit outside the box instead. I like this being holly and jolly. I'm actually going to cut it into 2 word strips. And then there's a lot of extra space on the ends now, so I'm going to trim those down. being holly and jolly. So now I need a little bit of color for Joe's tree. So what if I put this here, being holly and jolly. I think I want it hanging off the edge a little bit, and I'll trim it. Oh, I like that. Cute. Okay. Just trim off the excess. I like the repetition, holly jolly and being holly and jolly. I think it's kind of funny. I feel like there needs to be something here at the bottom, maybe. About. No, that's not right. Maybe not. What if I put this love up here in the top? Just as a like a non-functional pull tab. It's not there to, you know, make it actually pull out, but just as a decoration. I think I like that, and it gives me a nice little counterpoint visually to that bottom corner. Cute. Okay, I think that makes me happy. That was pretty easy. Let's put them in the album and see how it goes. Get in there. There we go. I might prefer it here now, because I think I want it here now. Kind of has a nice little repetition between the three too. The three circular objects. Cute. Okay. So we've got 7, 8, and the other side of 8. Do I want something on this side? Probably. What about just something like this? Yep, that's good. Cute. All right, now I'm done. Bye. Okay, I lied. Just one more thing. I was adding my journaling in here, and this card was sort of bugging me because everything else had little like embellishment clusters on them. So I was playing with some of these gold asterisk sort of snowflakes just to mimic some more of that gold. And while I was at it, I was still kind of bugged by the area under being holly and jolly. So I found this cute little gold scallop to go right there. Haha! Always adding. Simple is never simple for me. Okay, now I'm done.